particular session is all about Iveri. I hope I've got my stuff right. Swanee is more of the specialist, if I can put it that way. So if I'm doing something wrong, Swanee, anytime, please, you need to interrupt me because this is hectic. Okay. I was playing. I was playing with it and then I got a bit of an anxiety attack on the side. I'm like, oh, shh, I don't know if I can do this. So, yeah, here we go. Guys, this particular session is going on the premise that you've already got Iveri credit card batches. Please, with a quick show of hands, can you tell me who does not? So who doesn't have Iveri and want to know what this is about so that we need to like change our way we're doing things? Okay. This is going to be interesting. Okay, we're going to just like make it work. Right. So if you want to know more what it is, so we should have done a demo instead of telling you about Iveri Enterprise. Swanee, at any stage, if you want to jump in and say something, go for it. Okay. Let me quickly tell you what Iveri in essence is according to me, and Swanee can correct me once I'm done, because I'm quite sure she's going to have much better answers than I have. Okay, Iveri is like a settlement house, and I think it works in conjunction, yes, Jan, to NetBank, and where they basically will create, instead of you having to go to your point of sale machine and swipe the card or type in the number time and again 500,000 times every single day, Iveri will allow you to create a credit card batch. Okay, now what it does in essence, to make it very quick and very simple, what it does is when you, let me share my invoice and I'll talk about it. When you do an invoice, I'm going to be naughty, I'm going to copy and paste if you'll permit me, because I'm not going to type all of this up again. When you have a transaction, like, are you all seeing my invoicing screen, right? Okay. Are you seeing my invoicing, Swanee, babes? Yes, thank you, my scuts. All right. When you do a brand new invoice, okay, and you want to charge it to your Iveri card, for me, and this is where Swanee needs to correct me, generally what you will do is you'll have a payment on your client's invoice, like in this instance, I'll have a cash invoice for the SA Airways, and let's go and add a service fee. And then I'll start talking about my nonsense that I want to say, and then Swanee can give you the real stuff. Okay, I will charge, oh my word, sorry. Let me just get rid of that. Sorry about that. I have no clue whose that is, and therefore I'm not answering it. Oops, sorry. Let me just go that. Okay, it's on Iveri. Okay, so we're adding in a service fee. Whenever you do an invoice, and it's a cash invoice, think about it. Your client, at this stage when you do the invoice, your client hasn't paid you with a credit card. Okay, or with cash, or with a EFT, or whatever the case might be. Okay, if you want to use Iveri, where you create a credit card batch, okay, you'll come into the invoicing, you'll load your line items, whether it's land or air, service fees or general charges. You can come and load them in here, make the payment method cash, but then very important, go and tell the system which card you would like to go and swipe it off, as if you were going to do it manually. Right, in this instance, I have this service fee of $150, and I said to the system, listen here, I know it's cash, but I'm planning on swiping it off this Visa card here for Mr. Joe Soap. And you will basically do that with all your transactions. Okay, now once you've done all those transactions and you've specified that credit card number, you can then go ahead and save your invoices. And I'm sorry, I was playing with automatic service fees, and that's why it's red. So instead of discussing auto service fees, I'm just going to deactivate it for now. Sorry about that. I have been playing and I've been messing things up. All right. Now, once this will probably become a regular thing, because there's no, whilst you have the option of having your point of sale machine, the Iveri machine, with regards, not Iveri machine, but the Iveri Enterprise online functionality that we have is much more PCI DSS compliant. And you'll agree with me, when you do a manual credit card transaction on your swipe machine, you literally have to either swipe the card, the physical card needs to be present, or B, you need to type in that card number. And now this is where the PCI compliance comes in, because I'm going to tell you where are you storing it. If you're telling me you're storing it in a little file that you've got in your drawer, I'm telling you now you're not PCI DSS compliant. Do you agree with me? Okay. Now what Iveri Enterprise Online will do is it gets rid of you needing to go and have a piece of paper or a Word doc that you maybe have a password on, or an email, or whatever the case is. It gets rid of you having to keep on keeping that card information. What you will do is you will go load it one time into the client's card details. So in case you were wondering where we do that, let me go show you. So what the first thing you'll need to do is you'll go into the data setup, you'll go into the credit card tab, and in here you will go and load that client's information. Now keep in mind that we can also secure this stuff and we can put in X's and that. I don't have it activated in my branch setup because I need to show you what I'm doing, but be be aware we can encrypt this and you'll see a lot of X's, or you'll just see the first 4 and the last 4 digits. As I said, I've just got it open right now because I need to show you. So you'll go in here, you'll load your client's credit card, enter the information. At the top, you can also, I don't know if you know this, but you can limit it so that if you only want to charge certain service fees, certain type of transactions to this particular Visa card, you can come and do it here at the top. In this instance, I've basically said I want to charge every single thing. Accommodation, air tickets, bank charges, service fees, general charges, the whole katoot, and that's why they're all green. So if you ever have a need for that, it's a side note, and you only want to swipe certain stuff on certain cards, this is where you will go and set it up for the Iveri Enterprise Online. Okay. Any questions at this stage? Or anything, Swanee, you would like to add?
Not yet. I think when we start doing the batch method, I'll probably have more things to say.
I'm quite sure. All righty. Now the question is, thanks Deirdre, you've now activated the cards, you've shown me how to load the cards. All great, fun and wonderful, and now QuickTrav knows there's some cards airy-fairy hanging around. But how do I tell the system that I'm actually going to get hold or use the enterprise functionality? Now those settings you will need to do in the branch setting. Okay, so you're going to go to Setup, Company Tables, and you're going to go into the branches. Once you're in there, please remind yourselves of segregation of duties. If you're not supposed to play in here, you won't know passwords or you will not be able to open it. You will then have to get somebody with the proper authority to open it for you. Again, if you took over from somebody else and you know you like management and you need access to it, phone our support department. They will be able to reset those passwords for you. Okay, now back into the branch settings to actually go and activate these things. You're going to go under options, and in here you're going to look for the credit card charge uploading in brackets WinMain. Once you've done that, you're going to activate use credit card transaction uploading, and basically what it's telling the system is like, guys, prepare yourselves, because once we've captured card numbers on a cash transaction, or even you can make it a bill back as well, but once we've captured that, we will probably need to be able to write files. Now this is where I'm going to quickly halt now. For those of you who don't know about it, previously our system allowed us to do pretty much what we're going to do right now, with the only exception is when it did these batches, okay, it physically made a little file and it saved the file onto your computer. Now the problem with that is that file was not encrypted. In other words, if somebody was clever enough and they could decipher it and know where to find the file, they could literally go and get those card details which meant the old way of doing was non-compliant, PCI non-compliant, okay? And that's where the Iveri Enterprise came in, because we then said, guys, we need to find a new way of doing things, and this is how we do it. So this stop section here that you see grayed out was our old way of doing things. And guys, if you go into your branch settings, those of you who have it, and it is still activated in your branch settings, please get in touch with Iveri immediately and ask them to put you onto the Enterprise Online, okay, because you need to become compliant. I'm not saying I'm going to phone IATA or anything like that, but if IATA walks in and they find a file or anything that has got the credit card details, you and I know what the implications are of not being PCI compliant. So rather get yourselves into gear. Yes, ma'am.
Can I add something based on that? What we did, you'll find that if you do actually go into the setup, that information is still going to be there. So it's not everybody that's migrated to Enterprise, which will come and explain in detail shortly. It's not everybody that's on Enterprise. We've kept other clients on batch because to migrate everybody to Enterprise was such a mission. So it's not everybody, and we are going to explain the difference between being on Enterprise and the batch method. So if the information is still there, it's still fine because we kept a handful of clients still on the batch method.
Yeah, even if you can see mine on the manual batch method now is deactivated, but it still retains the actual info in there. So it's not like you have to go and delete it now. It is okay. You basically just saying to the client, not to the client, to the system, we will now be using the Enterprise Online section. And this is where this portion here that I'm trying to highlight, this is where, if you use the Iveri Enterprise Online, where the settings for that would be. Okay. Now, first things first, you need to activate it. So you do need to say that I want to use this batch online upload. So double click and make sure you've got a tick in there. And then all the information that you get below, your profile, name, password, as well as your ID, that you're going to get from NetBank. They're going to give you this stuff. We can't give it, and we certainly can't make things up, because remember now, when we do these batches, and I'll go into some details about that just now, when we physically process these batches, those batches will be encrypted with all this profiles, the usernames and passwords. And if it doesn't match what NetBank has, they're going to reject the file because they're not going to go and swipe something that they don't know is legit. Okay, so very important. You will need to go and get this information from NetBank, and they will give it, or Iveri, I should say. They will give it to you. All right. Next button, please, that you need to activate is please use Iveri Enterprise Online Settlements. Now, what it does is once you have these usernames and passwords and all of that activated, once we've created the batch, and I'll show you how we're going to create the batch, the system automatically will speak to Iveri directly, and they've got this incoming and outgoing link and saying, hi Iveri, please, I've got this transaction, can I do this transaction? Iveri will come back and say, yes, okay, you've verified, what is it you need? So it's a constant discussion that goes on between them. So make sure you have online settlements activated, otherwise the file's never going to go through to Iveri, if I can put it that way. All right, and then also what I have activated, and I don't know if Tswani want to maybe chime in, is I also have used Iveri Enterprise third-party merchant settlements, which is a bill-through activated. So I don't know if you want to say something about that, Tswani.
Bill-through, we can actually discuss bill-through, but it was only for one specific client. So that has not been activated for everybody.
Okay, so you don't need it activated then, is that correct?
You definitely don't need it activate. And just to go, the two that you actually activated, do you see that there's use Iveri online file, batch online?
Yes.
And enterprise. So they'll never have the two activated. It will either be, it will be either or. So that either you'll be on the batch method or you'll be on the enterprise method.
So either this one or that one, but
that's
not both.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense? That makes sense to me. Thank you. As I said, Swanee is like our expert. So I'm so glad she's here. Thank heavens for Swanee. Thanks, Swanee, for clearing that up.
Thank you.
All right. Now, once you've done that, you can simply go and click on Save. So now it's activated. Remember, in your invoicing module, you're going to go through those transactions, and those that you want to charge to Iveri, you'll make sure there's a card. Now, here's the thing. Now, everybody's going to be like, oh, Deirdre, but what if I never had the card? Or maybe I forgot mid-month, but I still need to charge for the previous week or the previous whatever the case might be. There's good news. This is one of the few fields that we allow you to go and edit and change after the invoice was saved. So let's say I'm looking at account D1 and I forgot to put my card details on this particular invoice, invoice 8594. If I want to go and quickly put it in, I can still go back by clicking on edit. It's going to say, do you want to reopen? I'm going to say yes. Although it allows me to change that, we know all of that is still accurate. I just need to go and add in the ticket number, the card number for the ticket, sorry. Double click on it, and very important, go back and tell the system which card do we want to use when we do the Iveri. Once you're done, click on Save. Okay, so you can go back and quickly go into the transactions that you still want the Iveri enterprise to run, and you can go and add and specify those card numbers. The system will absolutely allow you to do that. Okay, is there any questions with regards to the invoicing and the reopening of the actual invoices, or can I continue? Everything is clear. All right, now all the hard work of capturing invoices gets done in the invoicing module. Where do we physically create these batches? The batches will be created in the main module. Why? Well, once you've created those batches and you've uploaded them to Iveri, whether it is an online batch or the manual batch, okay, you'll agree with me that we still need to do receipts and those kind of stuff. Now, the nice thing is if we do it in the main module, and hopefully my memory is going to come back from way back when because I haven't touched this for a while, but once we've gone through these batches, whether they run online or whether we do them manually, the system will allow me to automatically create receipts and deposits. So guys, no longer are you swiping that credit card machine or typing in all the card info and the machine goes grr, 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 and it prints, and then you take it and you attach it to a book and you staple it and you make a note of the receipt number that you kept. No longer do you need to do that. QuickTrav will physically go and do this receipt for you. All right, it won't, does it allocate, Swanee, can you remember? I think it does, but
yes, it does.
See, it even allocates now. Who wouldn't want that? All right. So now it's like, fine, Deirdre, show us the magic. This is where the magic happens. Okay. It is not a file. It is a utility. Why? Because remember, we are using Iveri to do those swipes for us. So you're going to go to Utilities, and you're going to go to Credit Card Batches. And we'll go into the register because this is where we're going to do it. The line register, we'll talk about that now. That's just physically every single line that the system has charged. Now, to create a new file, you're going to go into New. You're going to give it a consultant's name, so who's preparing this batch. And in the details, you can go and put in a reference number, maybe the date that you're running it, say 1 to 15 May, whatever the case might be. That's free format. It's for you to decide what you want to put in there. We're not going to fight. What is important with the Iveri Enterprise is that you do have this online tick activated. If you don't, my system will still create the file, but remember it's going to save it on your local PC, which is not PCI DSS compliant. Right. Once you've done this, you then need to go and tell the system what it is that you want to retrieve. And to do that, you're basically going to work your way through here, right now, at the bottom, through your tabbies, okay? Because now it's saying I'm creating a batch. We're going to go and retrieve this stuff. So tell the system, listen, these are our dates from when to when do we want to go and look at stuff. And you can go and backdate it as far as you want to. Please, word of caution, just be careful that you don't go choose something from 3 years ago, because if it doesn't have a link and you suddenly went and put in a card number, or that card number is just lying there, the system will still try and charge for you. So be a bit careful with the first batch or two. And I think Swanee will be able to confirm with me, you can charge stuff that you didn't think you were charging if you do the first batch. So just be very careful when and how you do things there. You then, under your transaction, have the option of selecting any of the 4 that we have here. Air, land, fees, as well as general charges. Now, a lot of people are saying, but why would I now suddenly charge an air ticket on here if I could have charged it through IATA? You could have. There's many reasons why you could or couldn't have done that. We give you the option of adding in air tickets. You don't have to, but no, it's there. I know there's some good reasons. I just can't think of any. If Swanee can think of any good reasons of adding in the air ticket, by all means, you can. Maybe could a good example be, maybe you had an air ticket, you found it for much cheaper than what you originally quoted the client, so you did a change of class. So instead of quoting them a K class, you've gone down to a G class, you made 1,500 Rand on the ticket and you had a merged service fee. I think that could probably be a reason why you would do a cash ticket, because even the merchant fee is still less than the 1,700 you made over and above the service fee, right? I don't know if you think of any better ideas. Goeie. So I'm going to for now just say air, land, fees, and of course it can charge general charges as well. I then have the option of limiting it to divisions. Now in this particular case, I'm not going to limit it to divisions. I can limit it to a credit card company. So if I only want to charge visas right now, I can do that. And then of course I can also limit it to a client's account. So if it's only one particular data's batch that I want to create for now, I just want to charge one particular data, I can put in that data code in there, and of course limit to a supplier or limit to a specific service fee type. Now all these things are very nice. It doesn't mean you have to limit stuff. You have the option of doing that. And then of course you can combine line items into one amount. Now you here have to make some very careful decisions. If you are merging service fees, okay, and you don't have that little button activated, Swanee, correct me here, if you have an air ticket, a service fee, and a merged service fee, that merged service fee, if that thing is unticked, is still going to do 3 transactions. Am I right, Swanee?
That's 100% correct.
Okay, so be careful about that combine button, especially if you know you've got merged on. Rather put one amount through instead of saying, okay, I want every single line separately, because it can come back and it will bite you in your bum. Okay, and yeah, be warned. Once you've done that, there's not much more we can select here except the retrieve button. So we're going to go and click on retrieve. The system will then say, oh, I've worked very hard, I've scanned through all the transactions, and here is the result of the labor that I've just done. And through here, the system then says, these are the transactions that I have, these are the cards, this is for the City Lodge, etc. And you can see here, this card number is different from this card number. Now, what happens if I don't want this transaction to appear? If I don't want the transaction to appear, I can go either flag it or delete it. Okay, so you can go and decide. I'm trying to remember, I think flag is permanent and delete is just on this batch. Am I right, Swanee? Can you recall?
That's 100%.
Yes, this memory is working.
No. That if support always says to me, the moment you select if, just think of the worst word that you can think of that starts with the word if. So I'm not going to say it because I don't swear, but that if is like you are really, yeah, it is going to mess things up. The delete button is your save button.
The flag, flippin' lost.
Yeah.
I don't know. A for something, G to whatever. Okay. Flag is forever. Okay. Think of F for forever. He definitely doesn't swear. I'm a potty mouth on the other side, so I could have used that word very easily. All right. So now if we don't want that, not on this batch or ever, as in never, ever, ever. We will flag it. Okay, and so I say, yeah, okay, thank you, but why? And I hope I've got a reason. I do. Manual. I think we can probably add another reason in there and just say already swiped or not going to swipe because it's part of a contra entry. We can put exclusion and reasons in there. All right. If I then decide that I don't want to charge this 1,700 for Mr. Curtis, I don't want to charge it this week because the secretary phoned and she said she only has 13,000 Rand on her card and I must quickly swipe 13,000 Rands worth of transactions. I can swipe the rest in 5 days' time. I can take this 1,417 and I can temporarily delete. And as you can see here, it will only delete it from this batch. It will come up on the next batch and say, hi guys, remember you still need to charge the 1,417. Okay. Once you've now gone, and you can see it's sort of gone, it's like poof, gone, fairy. Okay. Once you've done all of this and you've gone through your batch and you've now decided that you like what you see, right? You can go and check the batch. Once you've checked the batch, the system's going to do a quick calculation to say how much the batch is and how many transactions will be in here. Now, you'll agree with me, you guys work far harder than I do. You will have lines upon lines upon lines of things. So this checked batch is quite cool. It'll double check everything for you. Okay. Now, would you ever get a pre-authorization and then you need to put the authorization number in but still ask Iveri to charge it for you? Would there be situations like that? Seldom. Okay. If you do need to go put in an authorization number, let's say for this 8,000 Rand, this little auth button here at the bottom will basically allow you to go put in that authorization code. Okay. Now, please, guys, be careful. Don't go put in an authorization code like 00000. You know, a lot of people on credit card, I'm not giving anybody ideas, and if I am, please just kill me now. But, you know, a lot of things happen with people putting in fictitious authorization codes. Do not put in a fictitious authorization code in here. It's going to come back and it's going to hit you on your bum. Okay, it's going to do a knockout. So please, if you don't have an auth code, don't put something in there. Leave it blank. Okay, I'm not going to put an auth code in there. I just wanted to show that if you had to, maybe it was a big amount that was maybe more than the guy's daily limit and you had to get that auth code, then I would say, okay, go ahead and put it in, but don't make things up, ever. Okay. Cool beans. Once we've done this and we're now happy with our transactions, we can go on to the next stage because this is really just the retrieval stage. When you go to step 2, it's going to say, listen here, are you sure? Because once I close this, it is done. Make sure you confirm it and tell the system okay. Once it's done, from here, because it's Iveri, you're going to go down and you're going to go say online settlement button. And straight from here, the system's going to say, what do you want me to do? Just to flag them? Do you want me to run it? Or do you want me to view it? Okay, now when you say flag it, the status of this transaction will change to pending. In other words, it's going to say, we're just waiting for the final things to happen. Okay. If I change it there, settlement's going to change. Can you see the color changed? All right, so we also play with colors. And of course now, in there, the settlement flag is saying pending. So it's still saying, listen here, we're waiting to see what's happening. When you're ready, go and tell the system to do the online settlement. Big note. Make sure you have internet access. Okay, it needs to be stable and you have to have internet. So even if you have to go into Google or YouTube and quickly watch a video or something to make sure it's there, make sure you have an internet connection at this stage. Because if you run this online settlement and there's no connection, you're going to get an ugly message saying it's unable to connect to the bank. Okay, and then it's trace references and you have to phone the bank and you have to, trust me, it becomes a bit of a story. Swanee, do you want to pop something in here?
This might look a little bit different for people that are on batch. So I don't know if we do have some people that are on batch, but if they're using enterprise, at this point, they'll be able to get direct feedback from the bank whether the transaction was successful or not. But people that are still on batch, they still have to wait for an email confirming whether the transaction was successful or it was rejected.
Yeah. All right, so it's a bit of a two-sided story. I don't have the batch thingy, but what I can tell you, email will come through and it will give you an amount. It'll give you a settlement amount, so it'll tell you this is batch number 2 and the settlement amount was this amount. And this is where you, Linda, there could be a delay. I've found some delays previously. So
yes. Definitely, yeah. Linda, it's not instant. This is why we are trying to push that people go onto enterprise, because the feedback is instant. Sorry, T.
Why are you saying sorry? You're helping me. All right. Okay, so if you had online settlement, I'm going to try this and I'm going to tell you now it's going to freak out, because I just put in any garbage on that name, because there's no ways Iveri is going to allow me to have a real merchant at Book 3. But what you will do is you'll go into online and you will run it. And once you start, it's going to run through. Can you see it's connecting? It's trying to authorize, and immediately it comes back and it says, listen, yeah, you've given me some nonsense in here, and it tells you bad request, contact for Iveri. Okay, so opposed to you waiting for that email, Linda, this dude immediately will tell you what's popping. Okay, so it's quite cool, it's nifty, and at least it's instant, so you know exactly what's going on. All right, if you had any transactions and they were fine, then you would not be seeing error right in here. You would be, it's much better than waiting for emails here. It would, this settlement flag would have had another status in there, and I think it's okay if I remember correctly. Can you remember what it was, Swani? Because I can't remember what that flag, what it was saying. Settled! Yay! 200 points for Samantha! Thank you, Samantha! Samantha said it would be settled. Thank you very much. All right, at this stage, it was just closed for online settlement. You will then need to go through to the next step. So if you go to next, my thing is just screaming. I'm just going to pretend that says settled. Don't do what I do, please. Don't be naughty. Read what it says and check it out. Okay, at this stage, it is now in stage 3, which is in the reopen stage. This is where I can now go and say, okay, this transaction didn't happen, this transaction did. So let's say, for instance, the card only had 8,000 Rand and only the 8,000 went through, and the 4,855 Rand needs to be released. I will highlight it and I will go and tell the system that I want to release it. Okay, and again, it's not the F forever, it is the release for next time. So here we go, we'll say this will release it for the next time. We're going to say that's fine, and why was it done? Okay, as I said earlier, we can probably add in more reasons here if you want. I'm just going to say for now, manually, I'm just going to ignore it. All right, so you can see here, this is now changed, and immediately, because I released that, my amount changed. So it's no longer looking at the 7 or the 4,855. Right, if I want to, I can go, now it would actually have given me an auth number, but because I didn't have it and I made that error, I can also go and put in the auth code now, but it wouldn't, because the system enterprise would have given it to you automatically. Next step. One item is not settled. I'm not going to get rid of that error, am I? What am I going to do?
You're not. No, you're not.
I can't fix it. Guys, I'm going to quickly do something. Is the screen gone?
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Give me a second, please. Swani, tell a joke.
I'm terrible with jokes. So let's stick to training. But I'm sure they know what you're doing, and we have to hide the screen.
Guys, if I teach you this, I'll be dead. They will shoot me straight. Anybody good with jokes? You can tell a joke. I need about a minute.
Very important though, whoever's actually interested in Iveri, please make sure that when you do an application with Iveri, you come through to sales as well, because we need to link you to the integrator ID. We've got a specific integrator ID that we need to link you to. So if you're not linked to that, this will still not work. So it will be beneficial if you guys are looking at implementing this in the future. Please contact us and we'll be able to then link it to our integrator ID. I think, Jan, to answer your question, they have to be a merchant. They have to have a merchant number with Nedbank. So I do think that somehow you need to have an account with them.
Okay, guys, I quickly phoned Nedbank and I asked them to please settle it for me. Okay. That's the story. I'm sticking to it. Okay, so now what they've done is they've actually settled this transaction for me. I can now go over to the next stage. So if I go to next.
Now you need to show us the screen. We're not
sharing the screen. Holy cow, see, I'm so scared you guys see what I've done. Are you seeing my screen, bookies?
Yes.
Lovely people. Right, guys, Nedbank said, sorry, Deirdre, you can charge this $8,000. So they've gone and they've changed it for me to settled. They're such nice people, aren't they? Right here, I've lost my chat. So if anybody's chatting like for you, I've got no clue what you're saying. Swanee, you'll handle the chats, no?
Yes, I will.
Thanks, my baby. All right. So now it's settled. Next stage, go to next. And the system's now saying I'm taking it from the rejection process because we've done the rejections and the settlements, and I'm moving them on to step 4. Are you sure this is what you guys want to do? And you will notice every single time there's a little checkbox. Guys, it's there for a reason. We don't want you to go and confirm something, and then when it is done, you made a mistake and you find us in hysterics saying, I don't know what I did, please, please, please. Because we are so conditioned about clicking next, 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 that we forget to read. These checkboxes are important. Read them, take note of them, because once it's done, yeah, it's difficult to take back. Yes, we can, but it's not without absolute pain. All right, I could have sworn I've done that. Right, I have. Now the next step, when you click on next, is now saying, listen here, would you like me to go and do a receipt? Step 5 will give us receipts. Now please tell me, nobody stops here. Please tell me you're all going and saying, receipting. Why? Let the system do the receipt for you. Don't do things yourself. Samantha, 5 million credit to you because you do. I love you. You are my new best friend. You just need to send me your number, so at least I have my friend's number. Okay. Select the person that's going to make the actual receipt. This is your name. And very important, in the deposit book, just go choose which bank account is it going into. Makes sense, right? Once you've done that, why is it not doing my stuff, Swanee? Oh, it's blocked. Can you see there? Look what I did, guys.
Months.
Can you see that? Slap on the wrist for Deirdre. Please make sure that you are in the current month, because it is a bit stupid to make a receipt in July when, quite frankly, it was supposed to be in May. Okay. Please don't do as I do. Don't be naughty. All right. I'm taking my screen off. Is it gone, Swanee?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, my baby. Right. All right, so there's my receipt. Thankfully, the date is now May. So let's see if this Oki is going to do a receipt. I am sharing, right? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, you are.
Good. Right, so make sure you're in the right month. Make sure it's the same month. Please don't try and future date stuff. Okay, we don't allow for that. Quite simply go ahead and tell the system to click on OK. All right, I've been very more naughty and I've not linked my CCB into my invoicing module, and I should have done that, but it will actually do a receipt for me. Let me go in there. I think it's in here, hey? No, it's right. Setup, company, receipt types.
Oh, yes. Sorry. We are supposed to create it as a cash book. I'm sorry.
We're very, very naughty. No, we're not that naughty, but
no,
we
I'll
can
blame
be.
it on the lockdown because we haven't done this in a while.
Guys, we like blaming things on lockdown, okay? So it's the lockdown. If everybody can blame the lockdown, I'm blaming lockdown as well. Sorry about this. Receipting. Oh, I'm going to have to do this. Let me just quickly. I'm not taking my screen off, I promise. Just reloading my settings. Hopefully it'll be nice to me now. If failing which, I did say bank 2, hey. No. I've just done that. Setup. Receipts. CCB. I did save it. Bank demo 2. Why is it not showing it? Okay, let's go one step further and say you won't need to go into as much detail. I'm now, honestly, I need to apologize because this is now very unprofessional. I didn't prepare as well as I should have. I should have had all these things set up. I will share a document with you. If you are looking at going from start to finish, then I will share it with you. I do apologize. This should not be happening. It should actually just do a receipt for me. So sorry. Hopefully it's going to work now. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to run away. Just bank 2. There we go. Yay! This is what should be happening. Okay. I get very excited. Why? Immediately it creates a deposit. My deposit number is number 2 in my cash book that says NetBank demo account, and it shows you the number of receipts it did. In this instance, it was only 1 receipt, but it has created it for me. At this point in time, I can do print. Okay, you can do manual receipting, but please, I need a good reason why you would, because I don't know of any good reasons. That being said, you will now notice that there's a receipt number 6 in here, which automatically shows you that the system did the receipt for you. Now keep in mind, if everything is set up and it's working the way it's intended to, if you've done all those setups beforehand and you have a transaction or credit card batch of 100 lines and it's doing this receipts for you, there's no reason for you to do manual receipts. Please don't do that ever, 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 ever. You can literally, if you use this Iveri enterprise, you can literally from start to end, and when I talk about end, right at the end of stage 6 where you finish off this batch after the receipting and the deposits, you can probably do all of that in like 10 minutes, hey Swanee? On a 100-line transaction, because it's really just the biggest time is going to take that it will take for you is between reading between enterprise and quick software with that internet connection I kept on threatening you about. That's going to take the longest because it's going to read and upload and say, charge this, is it okay? Yes, no, okay, yes, and the next, and the next, and the next. Please use this auto receipting. It's going to save you hours of time, and you can rather phone me every now and then and just talk nonsense for a while. to make up for the lost time of you actually working. Okay, the last step then is to change it, and a lot of people at this stage say, I'm done. Please remember to go through to your 6th step, just to say, listen, this is it, it's cast and sewn, everything is cool, and just change it to number 6. You can't do anything in here. The only thing you can do is save or search, but a lot of people stop at step 5. Step 5 will give you a problem at month end. You need to make sure that you try and get through to step 6. Okay, obviously, no, but if you've receipted, then you can, it's not like you have a time delay. If it's receipted, it's in the bank, and it is reflecting. Okay. Any questions about it? Anything, any comments, anything you want to say? Linda says, this is really great and it's a huge time saver, but we don't bank with NetBank. So is there no similar solution with another bank? There isn't there? There is, Swanee.
They can use Diners, which allows them to use the Visa or MasterCard. So there's the Diners upload, which works exactly the same like Iveri, but Diners does cater for Visa and MasterCards.
Also remember that if you're with Iveri, you don't have to have a NetBank account. Okay, this is just a point of sale solution. So you can still tell them to pay the money into Standard Bank or apps or whatever. You'll just have that time delay of waiting for the money to come back in. Okay, so you can still have Iveri without a NetBank account. It doesn't really make sense, but you can. It's just the time. Then you wait as long as you wait on a POS machine instead of having it instantly. That's the only difference. Anything else? Any other questions? Absolutely, Jan. It's in WinMain Lite and it's in WinMain Full. Linda's saying the only thing one has to negotiate then is your merchant's fees with NetBank versus your own bank. Quite right, Linda, but I've found that the banks are now so they're craving business so much that they actually give very good deals. Play them off against one another. That's what I would do.
Linda's point is actually important because with Iveri, the money comes into your account per what you've actually uploaded. Yes. Okay, Samantha, okay. If you are on Diners, they take their merchant fees or there's certain fees that they actually deduct. So they net it off. But Iveri, I don't know whether Diners were going to change because they were still, they were open to changing it because they want to work the same like Iveri, but they do net it off. Diners doesn't give you the whole amount, but Iveri definitely does. That's the difference between the two as well.
Sam is saying she's using ITIS for Diners.
Yes.
Cool.
At 4 o'clock every day, it uploads from your system to ITIS every day. So it's set for a set time every day for Diners to take the amount off.
Oh, that's also nice, eh? That's handy. So
Yeah.
you don't have to remember.
No.
Okay. So that in a nutshell is the Iveri Enterprise Online. Bear in mind, if this was manual, you wouldn't get that communication screen that I just had now. Hold on, I can do something. Shall I give you something on the Iveri Enterprise Online? Is that the file you'd like to have, Jan? Because the whole process is quite a few documents, but I'm giving you the Iveri Enterprise Online. I'm sharing it with you right now. Then you can see what it does and how it works versus the old way of doing things. If you have the batch file, nothing changes. The only difference is you need to go look for it on a file in your own computer and manually upload it. Okay. And of course, manually go and change whether it was settled or not settled, manually release, etc. Linda's saying, I missed the eNet cards last week. Can you, in a very short, explain what the difference is? Okay. The eNet cards is you basically getting a virtual card. We call it a virtual account number. All right, and normally what it does, it has the first 6 digits is a prefix, and that eNet card will change with every single transaction. So the only thing that remains static is the first 6 digits of the card. The other 10 digits will dynamically change every single time you use that credit card for a ticket. That's in essence what eNet is all about. The YouTube for ICC2 is actually available. Let me get it to you. Again, it's not edited, so please forgive me. There we go. Link. There we go. Where's the chat? It's really unedited. I'm busy editing, but yeah, time is of the essence. It's there. The ICC2 video. I've just shared the link with all of you if you do want to go watch it. All right. That being said, again, from Tswane and myself, we really want to thank you for joining us again. Your participation makes this worth it. All the hours of preparation and all of that. It's really so cool to see you guys are buying into this. We appreciate it. We love you, and we all want you to stay safe. So until the next time, which I think is tomorrow morning, we shall chat again.
Thank you very much.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.